Hey, what's up, YouTube? Thanks for checking out this video. Today is going to be me running through some of my graded Michael Jordan cards between the years of 1985 and 1992. Does not include any of the super rare, super high-end cards. This is more stuff that's more run-of-the-mill, but I enjoy it. And I just like collecting Michael Jordan, because who doesn't like collecting Michael Jordan? Just a disclaimer, just because I enjoy something and just because I believe something might be a safe or smart investment for me does not mean that it's smart or right for you. You always need to do your own research and you need to buy what you like. Buying what you like is so important because you need to imagine if the card went down to $0, would you still actually enjoy it? And I can tell you with no doubt, I would absolutely still enjoy looking at these cards and collecting Michael Jordan, even if the cards were, in fact, worthless. So with that, we'll start off with the 1985-86 Star All-Rookie team. Star was really big on making subsets for different sort of events and awards. And so, Michael Jordan, he was in one of the 5 All-Rookie that year. And I'm trying to remember who else would have been, right? Like Hakeem probably was. Boy, I can't remember if Barkley was that draft class. Anyway, I'm sure the other 5 on the first team, the other 4 on the first team, the all-rookie team, were pretty stellar players. Next up, the 1986 Star Best of the New, and they also had a Best of the Old subset. I think this is a Star generally would make cards that the border was the same color as the players' team uniforms, but for these subsets, they didn't necessarily do that. So there's not many Michael Jordan Star cards floating around that are not red border. So I find that cool for that fact. And I like this card because you can see a little bit of the famous Air Jordan 1 sneaker on his foot. Next up, Star was very wise, and relatively early on in Michael's career, they knew that he would be the future. He would be a star, so no pun intended. So they gave him his own subset. Michael Jordan had, I guess maybe it was a 10 or 12 card subset that was just Michael Jordan cards. And so the next 3 cards are cards from that little subset. Then the Collegiate Stats is a card I enjoy in particular because of, again, you get to see the Air Jordan. So I'm always partial to cards where you can see Michael's shoes because his shoes are almost as iconic as he is. And then wrapping things up, the All-Star Game. And I like this just because of how these shoes have become significant again. They were released. Michael Jordan's son, Marcus, has a shoe line, kind of a joint venture with Nike called Trophy Room, and he does really cool, unique retros. And so they retroed this Air Jordan 1 with sort of like a plastic sheen to it to make it look frozen. They call it the Air Jordan 1 Frozen. The reason they wanted to make a frozen shoe was because, Michael Jordan in his his first All-Star appearance, only scored 7 points. And that's because the veterans wanted to freeze him out because they thought he was maybe a little too cocky, had a little too much swagger for being a young guy in the NBA. But alas, I think it's a very great looking card. Obviously, one day I'd love for PSA to grade these, but for the time being, they do not. So these cards are a few of the cards that I collect actively in Beckett holders. Next up, we're moving on to the 1988 Kenner starting lineup Michael Jordan. And this was a card that I personally got graded and it recently came back. I loved starting lineups as a kid, so this card has a lot of nostalgia for me. And also never take for granted when you can find cards where Michael's still got a nice head of hair. 1989 Hoops. I think this basically doesn't have hair there. Hoops is my favorite brand of basketball cards. At least I think it is. Maybe I shouldn't say it so definitively, but I love Hoops. I love its affordability. I love its collectability. I think that this design it's our first year of existence. I think it's an iconic design, and I like Michael Jordan holding up the number 1. Now, he's holding it up because he's calling a play, but we all know Michael Jordan is, in fact, number 1. 1990 Hoops with the Ferocious slam dunk. Get to see the iconic, I shouldn't use the word iconic so much, but it is iconic. I mean, you can overuse the word iconic with Michael, right? So the iconic tongue hanging out and putting it down against the Miami Heat. These hoops cards are actually really hard to get very well centered. And also this year, because of that foil print, there can be a little bit of chipping. I like this card because of the connection with Magic Johnson, who's obviously an all-time great. We'll flip it over. You know, they continued, I guess. So here's what it is. So Michael got his 5th consecutive scoring title, and Magic is in the running for his 3rd straight most valuable player award. So those were the streaks being referenced there. The Hoops Dream Team card, I mean, this year is Hoops and the Dream Team, so that makes it a big-time winner in my book. 1991 Provisions. I love everything about Provisions. I collect them across all sports. Obviously, the art is not of the highest quality, but I really like the general themes to them of really trying to make the player sort of out of this world. That was kind of the theme for some of the cards, and that one follows suit. Another warning I'd like to give here is that, you know, it really wasn't until the last couple of years that people actively would collect a card like this graded. And so this card raw is probably, I don't know, $5 to $10, if that. And it's very enjoyable. You know, putting these cards all in a binder is a lot less expensive or a lot less risky than owning them as PSA 10s. So please note that while I collect PSA 10s, enjoying these cards in other formats is more than fine, you know, and you can actually have many, many more cards if you're willing to store them in binders than as PSA 10s. The other reason I give that sort of disclaimer is because many of these cards that I'm showing, like this one in particular, you know, the pop reports were very, very low. And I do believe that the pop reports are probably going to go up and continue to go up as people really started getting a lot of Michael Jordan random base cards graded. So please, people, always do your research and make sure that you're enjoying a card for the right reasons and not just because you think that it'll go up in value in 6 months. That's definitely not always the case. Now, 1992 Ultra, I like this card for a couple of reasons. He did not wear the Carmines very often to begin with. And then having them show up on the card is cool. And then also that Bucks uniform is a great looking uniform and not a uniform that was very long lived. So I think that adds some allure to that card. This is just an amazing photo. Really, to me, symbolizes what Stadium Club is all about, and that's photography. So this is an amazing action shot in Madison Square Garden, dunking over one of his well-known and well-respected rivals, Patrick Ewing. Just a lot to really enjoy with that particular set. 1992 Topps. Now, this card is otherwise fairly boring, but I like the fact that it is against the Portland Trailblazers, which is whom they met in the finals that year. So just some coincidental kind of history coming together with that particular card. The 1992 Archives is a very interesting set. What it did was basically, you know, if Topps had an NBA license during these players' rookie years, you know, what would their rookie cards have looked like? And so like Karl Malone and Charles Barkley, they're in the 1985 card design. Michael and Akeem are the 1984 Topps design. And then like Clyde Drexler is the 1983 Topps design. And there's obviously a lot of cards in that set. These really jumped in value during the pandemic and during this big rush on cards, just because there hadn't been a lot of them graded. It's not a super hard card to get a PSA 10. It's just, as I've talked about, not something that people are like actively grading until recently. So this is one where, again, buy it raw, buy it as a PSA, buy it as a PSA 9. I really don't endorse buying it as a PSA 10. I don't know if I endorse buying any of these as PSA 10s right now. I think we still need some time to see the grading boom kind of settle, because I think some of these Michael Jordan pop reports are going to continue to grow, which generally, not always, means that prices might come down. So please, please, please understand that owning these as a PSA 8 or 9 is a lot of fun, or building an album of raw Michael Jordan cards is a lot of fun. Here we have another 1990. We have another hoops card, and again, I love hoops. And this one, again, another shot of the Carmines, and he's dunking over another NBA, not dunking as he's laying it in, another NBA legend, Hakeem, and we got Mad Max. I mean, that, and Kenny Smith. So I like this. And then you got Horace Grant. I mean, we just got some players that I loved watching as a kid on this card. So loved that. Now, this artwork, I do believe is a little bit higher quality than the Provision Fleer artwork. So I like this, celebrating his back-to-back MVPs. And they note regular season and NBA Finals back-to-back MVPs. Just a reminder of Michael's true dominance in the game. 1992 Upper Deck All-Star Game. You can't see the entire thing, but he is wearing the 7s or 8s. Oh, those are the 8s. Yeah, these are the 8s, which were like the straps going across the shoes. And like they came out in these really, it was like a teal and purple design. And I remember that the first time we ever saw these was in the All-Star Game. So Michael would release colorways or new shoes in conjunction with the All-Star Game. And I remember as a kid just desperately needing those Air Jordans. Also, this was a famous All-Star Game because Magic Johnson came back and won the MVP. No, that was Orlando. Sorry, that was Orlando the next year. But anyway, the uniforms are very similar those 2 years. But great Michael Jordan action shot from the All-Star Game. And we've got, again, Hakeem kind of not getting posterized. Then we got Stockton, we got Malone, and then, I can't figure out who that is. Sorry about that. 1992 SkyBox, they made an entire set in conjunction with the Dream Team. And so each player got like 12 cards. And this was the card celebrating Michael's rookie year. So there's a series of them, like playoff games, off the court life. Every player has 12 different cards. I just like this one just because the photo is just awesome. I had a poster that was that photo, and they made the basketball the moon. And so just a great shot of Michael from the slam dunk contest. Gold chain, Air Jordan 1s. Boy, it is tough to beat that photograph. These are actually hard to grade because they're all kind of full bleed photos. So there's a lot of edge issue, chipping issues. So that card does look pretty attractive in that particular setup. The 1993 SkyBox Premium, which was sort of like an elevated brand and a little bit more expensive, fewer cards per pack. But I liked the kind of graphic design element of adding some motion to the basketball. I like the foil stamp logo. Some of these actually have good backs. Let me see if there's any. Okay, so here's the back of this one. You can see the shoe, the straps going across. Sorry for the noise of the slabs. Some of the hoop. I guess, you know what? I've got a couple more cards from this era not in here. Excuse me, because I do want to show these. I think that they're important to sports card history. Yeah, here they are. What in the world? There's one that I wanted to show off. I don't know where it is. It's okay. So two more cards. These are actually in my personal card case because of how significant they were to me as a collector. The 1990 SkyBox which SkyBox hitting the scene was a huge deal and had really cool graphic design. But the reason I like this card so much is the picture of him playing golf on the back, and it's a wooden driver. So, and then we'll wrap up with this bad boy. Love it. That's a card it got really high and then it kind of came back down. So some value there. But these two cards are in my PC card case, like the 100 cards that I deem to have unique significance for one reason or another, even just personal significance. So these cards are kind of extra special there. I definitely think people are highly familiar with these two. So that's one reason I kind of did not have them in my regular Michael Jordan box. So we have more Michael Jordan cards to share, and I'll probably make that the next video.